friends, I am back and showing you a traditional slimline card today. So I'm actually doing a little bit of a different size. So this paper is already 8.5 inches wide, so I figured I'd take advantage of that. And then I'm going to also cut at the 7-inch line here. So now I'm going to take, this is the base of my slimline. I'm going to take this and score it at 3.5 inches. So this is a more popular type slimline card. It's a little bit smaller than the traditional, which is 8 5/8 by 7 1/4 total. And I just figured this would be a little bit easier measuring wise. So here's the base of my card. That's super pretty. I love it. Nice and long. So my inspiration today is a snowman. I have my circle dies and I have these super cute snowman sequins and some sparkles. I want to try to make maybe a shaker, and I have some watercolor paper here, and I think I'm going to cut my circles out in some watercolor paper. So these are my circle dies from Catherine Pooler, and I'm just going to run these through my Sizzix Big Shot machine. And I decided I wanted to use watercolor paper because I wanted to try to actually watercolor the snowman's face. And I know this is a little bit different color than my background of my cardstock, but I'm okay with that. I wanted it to look kind of like traditional type snow, so I wanted it to be a little bit of a different colors. So here I'm going to cut out, I have some shimmer cardstock, and I'm going to cut out a circle for my shaker element of the bottom of my snowman. And then I realized I accidentally cut out an extra circle I didn't need to. So here I'm just cutting out basically a ring that is going to be a window for the belly of my snowman. So that looks great, and that's going to go on the bottom here of my snowman. Nice, so looking good. These circles are obviously nice and uniform. You could trim them down a little bit more to make them look more snowy. So now I'm going to cut out a little piece of acetate sheet. I have some cherry acetate here, and I just used a bigger size circle, a little bit bigger than my ring here, so it would cover the inside. And then I'm gluing this on the back, just being very careful with the glue not to apply too much. And I'm adding some of these Wow Sparkle sequins. These are super nice. I love these sparkles because they're all different sizes, and I am going to add a little bit of rock candy, which is just a little bit of clear silver glitter. So just mixing that around, making sure it gets all mixed in together. And here I have some cherry foam tape. This is nice and thin, and the width is perfect here for my shaker. And a little hack is to peel the back off, and then it becomes super flexible, and I can just move it all the way around my circle here. So that's really nice. I use this quite a bit, and then if you wanted a little more dimension, you could just do another layer of foam tape. I didn't cut it long enough, so I just have a little piece here and just making sure there's no holes. That looks good. And then I do have my little static pouch here, and I'm rubbing my acetate because the glitter was sticking to it a little bit, and it might still, and that's okay. And then just make sure you press your sides really, really well before shaking it. And that looks good. There's my base of my snowman, the bottom half. I love that. And then I actually have some Halloween sequins here that I'm probably going to use for the buttons of my snowman. I really like these. They have black in the pack, so I figured I could use the black. So I've been inspired by these snowman coasters that I've been staring at on my kitchen table. And so I wanted to use them, and I'm going to try to paint his face to look similar to that. I'm not going to make it look the same, obviously. It's super pretty, but I have some Mandarin Spice and some Tranquil here, and Tranquil I'm just starting out and putting that around my circle just to add a little bit of shading. This was on my coasters, our snowman coasters, and I really love them. So I wanted to try to add a little bit of shading there for the snow. And then here I'm just going to paint on his nose, and just really delicately. I always find I do a lot better with something like this where you're drawing or painting when I have something to reference. So I'm just kind of looking at the coaster, and now here I am applying a little bit more Tranquil onto the middle part of the body there with the buttons. And I decided for the smile I was going to use some watercolor paper, but I actually have this punch hole, this really little, the tiny one. And I can't remember the size of it right now, but I'll make sure to put it in the link for you in the description. But here, look how cute this is for his smile. I thought this was so cute. Look at these cute little dots. They're perfect size. They're not too big. I might take a little bit out and space them apart a little, but then I have a regular hole punch here, and these just turned out to be perfect for his face. I really loved these. I felt like it matched the coaster pretty well. Good enough, And so now I'm just gonna go ahead and go through and glue all these little dots on. Those look great. And there's my cute little snowman head. I love that. So super excited about that. I love using my Wendy Vecchi Make Art for watercoloring and even embossing, stuff like that with the magnetic platform. So that's what I'm using here, that blue magnetic sheet. So now I actually have this Sizzix die cut. This is actually supposed to be a gift wrap. And I decided I'm going to cut out the black here and I'm going to turn it into a hat. So obviously it's a little too big to be a snowman hat. So I'm using this hack that I just did the other day with my card sentiment dies, where you can shorten the length of it and run it through your machine and get an even smaller square. How cool is that? So that was a rectangle, now it's a square. And I'm just going to size it out here with this head, and that still looks a little bit too big to me. So I decided to trim it down a little more, although that does look cute, doesn't it? So just trimmed it down a little bit more, and that I think is the perfect size square. So I really love this. The hat's like this perfect finishing touch, and now I have some of this really cute plaid Christmas washi. I'm just going to put this on the base of the hat. I felt like this added a nice decorative touch and made it look even more so like a hat. So that looks great. I love that. I'm just going to glue the base of the hat onto the bottom there. And a lot of these steps I'm doing involves waiting for things to dry. So when I have this process done with the hat, I'll just move on to something else, a different element of my card. That's how I like to do it, so I don't have to necessarily wait to move forward. So now for this part, the center of the snowman, I really wanted to add a little bit more sparkle, and I felt like the center was, just had those buttons. So this is one of my favorite techniques I use. I'm putting glue all around the outside of that circle, and then I have that glitter in just a folded piece of scrap paper, and I'm just sticking that glue part in the glitter, and this just creates a nice snowy effect on the outside of my circle. I love that. So now I'm going to put that aside to dry, and I'm going to cut out one of my sentiments. These are one of my free printable sheets. I love these. I love this May the Magic of Christmas fill every corner of your home, but I might do this other one wishing you a Merry Christmas. So I'm just going to cut it out in the card sentiment dies. That's our Emily Moore Designs card sentiment die pack. It's so nice. And now I am moving on to the arms. So on these coasters, their arms are sticking up, and I think it's just so sweet. So I'm using some over coffee and doing some direct to paper. Isn't that the perfect branch color? I just felt like that was the perfect branch color. So just going to put that aside to dry really quickly. And then I did cut out a different sentiment with the card sentiment dies because I felt like I didn't have it centered well enough on my other one. And I like this font. I just think it's so cute. So here I'm just going to now cut out my stick arms. I'm just cutting out a couple of little sticks here, little strips with my Fiskars, my mini cutter. And I'm just going to trim this up. These are going to get trimmed down pretty much quite a bit anyway, because I'm going to cut them off the card. They're going to be like that, but I'm going to end up trimming them down. So here's another technique I continue to keep using, is I'm just die cutting out some snowflakes for my background of my card in the same color cardstock as my card base, so it kind of blends in. It looks great. And now I'm going to add these stick arms to the back of my snowman's body here, his center base. That looks great. He's so cute. And this is all going to come together, and you'll see like how nice this is going to look together. So I have the base glued on with some cherry tape there. That looks good. And then I think I'm going to add my snowman, put his hat on. I almost forgot to put his hat on. So I'm going to glue that on, and then I won't have to wait for him to dry. Again, a lot of drying processes here, but that's okay. This is the struggle of doing crafts, right? You have to wait for things to dry. Patience. Okay, so I'm gonna trim my sticks down here, and look at how short that is. Oh my goodness. But that's okay. I'm okay with it. And I'm gonna trim this side off, and I did glue the other part of it down so it would stay nice and secure. That looks great. And then I did put these guys on with some cherry tape. I'm gonna put my sentiment down first so I know exactly where to put my snowman head, so it doesn't get blocked by his head or anything weird like that. So I decided I wanted to add a scarf onto my snowman, but I wasn't sure exactly how to do it. So I decided to put it on the back base of his head before gluing his head down. I have a cherry dot on the back of him. So what I'm going to do is just wrap it around so it looks like he's literally just wearing a scarf. Isn't this cute? So I'm just wrapping it around the head base here and his body, and then that looks really good. I'm going to peel the backing off my cherry dot there so that his head stays in place Perfect. And then I'm just going to fold in these edges so that the washi tape isn't just like flying out and, sticking to stuff. So just going to fold the bottom edge down. And if you wanted to secure it even more so with glue, you could. So look at how cute that is though. And we got a shaker base, which is so cute, and this cute sentiment, which is free. How sweet is that? His matching hat and scarf. So cute. I love that. Okay, so let's move on to the inside. I have a sentiment here that just says Merry Christmas, which I wanted to use because I used one of my stamps that talks about Christmas, and not all of them have Christmas sayings. Some of them are just holiday. But I wanted to match the same sentiment die I used on the front. So here I'm using the same one on this. This is a Spellbinder stamp. So this isn't even a coordinating, this isn't a, I'm sorry, an Emily Moore Designs stamp. This is just a stamp I had, and it still coordinates with our dies. That's what I love about these dies, and that was the sole purpose of me making these dies, was the versatility and practicality, being able to cut something out, make it look nice, when you don't have coordinating dies. So here I'm just gluing this background down to the inside of my card. I really liked this snowflake pattern. I had this in my stash from last Christmas. It's from Mittens and Mistletoe, I believe is the name of it. And so now I'm grabbing some washi. I love using washi. If I use it on the outside, I like to use it on the inside for the part where you write, Merry Christmas, where you're writing all your sentiments. So this is for that there. I just put a nice decorative strip down at the edge, the long edge, and it looks great since it's so long with the Slimline. And then putting my Merry Christmas on some foam, and then I have to use these adorable snowman little sprinkles. Look at how cute they are. So that's the inside of my card. It looks great. And then this is the outside. I have the shaker element and the snowman, and this is the popular Slimline card. So it's that 8.5 by 7, and look how beautiful the inside is with the sentiment and the washi. And that's it. That's how you make a Slimline card. Thanks for watching, guys.